Hello and welcome to my latest video. In this video I'm going to be taking a quick look at this Undead King, which is from a Kickstarter campaign by Hera Models. It's the Trudvang Chronicles. I'll put a link in the description anyway. And they sent me this bust and asked if I'd like to do a kit review on it. And I thought it looked pretty cool, so I thought I'd give it a go. It's quite a large bust. Well, I paint a lot of Space Marines and things like that, so in comparison this is quite a bit bigger than those, but I suppose in terms of being a bust it's it's about the right size. But the sculpting on it is really nice. The details are very crisp. There's no indication of any print lines or anything from from the 3D printer, so everything's very clean, crisp. It looks kind of ideal to paint really, and I think I'm actually going to give this one a go, so this will probably be in a future video. And I'm a big fan of Undead anyway, so this really appeals to me, and it's not too complicated either. So sometimes when you get busts and things, they can be sort of like hyper detailed, and the problem with things like that is that when the detail is so intense, you have to kind of like paint all that detail on it, whereas I prefer things a little bit cleaner, which then allows you to paint the details on that you want, and then sometimes you can leave areas a bit cleaner. It is a problem that I've had with models more and more as technology has improved. It's allowed artists and designers to put more detail onto their models, and sometimes I think that's to the detriment of the model. So I think this one's really nice because it's nice, clean, clear sculpting, and there's plenty of room for me to paint the things on, especially for something say like non-metallic metals. The helmet and shoulders are really kind of like nice shapes, and should be quite easy actually to get a really effective non-metallic sort of shine on there. It's got some interesting features on it as well, like the skulls and so he's got the two skulls there at the bottom, and they've got hair on and things like that still, but also like the actual details on the skulls, which includes the bust's skull face as well. That actually has quite a lot of detail, like accurate detail for a skull. So if you look at something so like a Games Workshop model, their skulls obviously are tiny, and they have to be sort of stylized, one to accommodate plastic printing, but also, or plastic molding rather, but also just so that you can see the details. So you get things like teeth like comically large, like if you blew them up to the same scale as this, they would look ridiculous because the teeth would be massive, whereas on something like this you can see actually the teeth are the correct size. Now if you shrunk that down to a Games Workshop style skull, you wouldn't even be able to pick out the teeth because they'd be so small. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences in scale and how that allows you to be kind of like more realistic with the details that you're putting onto the model. And also kind of nicely as well, the fur cloak that he has. So there's like lots of lumps and it's quite smooth. This is my preferred way of having fur cloaks, because quite often I'll see when people sculpt cloaks and things, they try and do lots and lots of sort of strands of hair, and even at this scale, like lots of strands of hair looks ridiculous because it means they're extra thick, and it kind of just looks like lots of sort of like pasta stuck on. It's very, very thick and wiry looking strands, and the problem is when they're sculpted on like that, you have to then paint it like that, whereas if you have like the softer, smoother element, you can paint in sort of like hair type effects, and it's just you can make it look more realistic than having these big sort of like sausage finger strands of hair put on the model. But anyway, so that's the end of the quick review. I really like the model. If you're interested in this, then go and check out the Kickstarter. There'll be a link in the description. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching.